Chapter 5, The Law of Compensation. Chapter begins when Joe is sent and enters the reception desk for a business called Learning Systems for Children Incorporated. He was met by a woman. That woman then makes a joke at Joe, saying, how'd it go? You're the friend of Mr. Pender, right? He left a message, said he'll be right along. Don't you worry, I'll set you right up in the conference room. So this is Nicole talking. This is the reception lady to Joe. Nicole began to see. Oh no, sorry. Nicole's the CEO. What's the last? Marge. Marge is the reception lady. This was just a quick joke she makes. Go inside the conference room. Nicole will begin to see you real soon. Bring in a cup of Joe, because his name's Joe, but also you call Coffee Joe. She laughed at her own inadvertent joke. Joe. So when Joe goes in the first conference room, he was very surprised at what he saw. We didn't see like any extravagant boardroom, long table, very fancy telecommunication systems. No. He saw, instead the room was lined with small wooden tables littered with tubs of modeling clay, pipe cleaners, all sorts of colors, piles of construction paper, and endless array of crayons. It was chaos that filled the room. About a dozen people ranging in age from the late 20s to early 60s stood talking and laughing at once, all of them busy engaged in what looked to Joe like the delirious pursuit of making a mess. Some smushed together lumps of modeling clay, others smeared finger paints on the easels. Joe gaped. He had stepped out of a world of corporate culture and fallen back through time to a kindergarten class. And then, whoops, he hears, without batting an eye, Marge simply closed the door again and marched down the hall to the next room, beckoning Joe to follow. Other conference room, I guess. So when Joe goes in the other conference room, same thing, just no people there. This very unorthodox sense of a boardroom, in this case of your corporate world. And when he went inside, he was instantly greeted by the young woman named Nicole. Turns out she's the CEO, but Joe didn't realize that right off the bat until later Pindar came and introduced, this is the friend I wanted you to meet. And then Joe clicked like, wow, this is the CEO. My God, she's my age. Like, she's really young. I think she's like 20. I don't know if they actually said her age. I want to say 27, but that could just be a number I have in my head for whatever reason. Anywho, they start talking. She's been called bona fide genius. Joe tried his best to hide his astonishment. He's already been talking with the CEO. Please meet Joe, my newest friend. Yep. Not nearly as young as my customers. Let's go with this one. Okay, yep. While they're at the lunch, Pindar brought them lunch, and Nicole began to tell her story. So Nicole had been a talented grade school teacher. The parents loved her approach to teaching, and her students loved her, but Nicole wasn't happy. She felt constrained by a system that was geared to teaching children only how to memorize and recite. Over time, she devised a series of games that engaged the kids' creativity and intellectual curiosity. She was thrilled to find that her inventions helped the children learn and grow, but she grew frustrated with the fact that she couldn't help more than 20 or 25 kids at a time, and she was barely surviving on her teacher's salary. Very good, she said. Gold star. So she just saying, like, she asked again what the first successful stratospheric law was. Joe recited it. Good. The first law determines your valuable you are, Nicole continued. In other words, your potential income, how much you could earn. But it's the second law that determines how much you actually do earn. One day, while in a conference with a parent, Nicole had mentioned how much the kid enjoyed the games she created and how much they seemed to benefit from them. Knowing this, Dad was a software engineer. She asked if she could hire him to take a look at them to see if it would be possible to program them to run on computers. He agreed. The next week, Nicole met with the software designers again, and this time she brought along a school mom who ran a small marketing and advertising business. A few days later, the three formed a company together. Nicole managed to find some seed capital through a friend of a friend, a man she simply called the connector. Thus the connector, a second appearance. Told you he would make another appearance in this book. Within a few years, their fledgling educational software company was doing over $100 million in annual sales worldwide. As founder and CEO of Learning Systems for Children Incorporated, Nicole also did consulting for school systems, homeschooling organizations, and educational researchers around the country. Through LSC, we expect to touch the lives of 20 to 25 million kids, she pointed out. And that, in a nutshell, is the second law, the law of compensation. Your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. She paused and added, or to put it another way, your compensation is directly proportional to how many lives you touch. Boom. And that's the big number two law here. I like this part. Joe thought over for a minute and nodded. And the other amazing thing, wait, no, I don't want to get to that one yet. I'm going to say this exactly. There are two amazing things about this. First, it means that you get to determine your level of compensation and under your control. If you want more success, find a way to serve more people. It's that simple. It also means there are no limitations on what you can earn, because you can always find more people to serve. The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. once said, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. Another way to say that might be, everybody can be successful because anybody can give. Yeah, buddy. And also going back to this one, the people who get rich did so by taking advantage of everyone else. Nope, what am I talking about? She laughed. No, quite the opposite. I was afraid it would. Here you go. This is Nicole sharing on her beliefs as far as when she had the mindset that I was brought up with the belief that there are two types of people in the world. There are types of people who get rich, and there are people who do good. My belief system said you're one or the other. You can't be both. The people who get rich did so by taking advantage of everyone else. The people who really cared about others and provide services, such as policemen, nurses, volunteer workers, of course, teachers, those were the world's good people, and they could never be rich. And they could never be rich. That would be a contraindication in terms. At least that's what she thought when she was growing up. I watched how hard my parents were working. I saw how many kids' lives were changing. I saw that my old belief system was only getting in the way. I wasn't serving, so I decided to change it. Boom, change it. Yes, girl. Whoa. Anyone can. She smiled. She asked Joe, have you ever made up a story? Your life works the same way. You just make it up. Being broke and being rich are both decisions. You make them up right up here. She tapped her finger on her temple. Everything else is just how it plays out. Joe thought back to his Saturday conversation with Pindar. What you focus on is what you get. So me right now, I'm focusing on this book. I'm focusing on investing in myself. By me focusing on investing in myself, I'm gonna be able to reap on this practice of investing in myself, bettering myself to become a more valuable giver, and thus enjoying life as a giver, thus living life in the moment, in the present, going and doing unique things, tremendously unique things. As Pender gave a hug to Nicole and said his goodbyes, Joe glanced around the room. He looked at the easels and finger paints, the clay and construction paper, and all the other kindergarten paraphernalia, and a thought struck him. They make up stories, he mused to himself. They sit here in the room and make up stories. They paint them out, model them, and they then go make them happen all over the planet. $200 million worth. You just make it up, she said. Thus, the second law, the law of compensation. Your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. Time to play. Over and out.